Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Massive drama in the North American VALORANT scene again and going down over the last 24 hours, not just because Riot Games have changed the smoke mechanics to such an extent the pros are not happy about this at all for various reasons, but also Evil Genius's Game Changers roster. They just qualified for the GC World Championship next month, and now they've dropped one of their players after a series of allegations come through, and loads of drama on this, as there always is every few days in the North American Game Changers scene. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Plenty to dive into. Firstly, roster changes. We've got Foot Esports, they confirmed yesterday their other acquisition, and then they confirmed CNED as well. So here's CNED on the private jet, he's coming in, returning to a Turkish lineup as we expected. Pretty cool stuff, and yeah, hoping it works out well for all parties here, and CNED can get back to his best, because a very exciting player to watch when he was really on form over the last, couple of years ago on Ascends when they won the World Championship. This is Furia's roster as well. They confirmed it yesterday. Havoc coming in is pretty interesting just because Havoc was linked to a lot of different places. Of course, people thought that he was going to go to Loud. That was the initial rumor, that he was even practicing with Loud instead of Aspas when they were potentially looking to make that change before the World Championship. Well, they weren't going to change before Champs, but there were rumors that Aspas wasn't with the team practicing. Havoc was with the team instead, and Loud were going to get him instead of Aspas after the season ends. Then Aspas goes to Leviathan, and then even Havoc, I think, was briefly linked to Lev as well, but that didn't happen. He's now on Furia. So, yeah, I think they've done a decent job building their roster. I wouldn't say it's spectacular. And also there's talk about DG Zunright. They dropped that guy. Have they really replaced him with someone of that level? I'm not so convinced. So, yeah, I don't know. A decent roster, but I think there's a lot of teams that have been stacked pretty hard, to be honest, in the North American, just the Americas in general. So, yeah, tough to imagine that Furia will do something incredibly special with this roster. Crew as well, after their remarkable season in 2023 where they lost everything and then somehow managed to just win everything pretty much towards the end of the season at least and make it to the World Championship and all that, winning the LCQ. Klaus, Melsa, Kesnit, they, of course, stay on the team. And then MTA and Shy. So Shy, formerly of Lev, who was briefly on, well, he was on Leviathan for some time, and they've got rid of him because they're making their, at least in their opinion, significant upgrade. So, yeah, I kind of like this one from Crew, to be fair. I think they've put together a pretty decent roster. I think I would favour it over the Furia one, maybe. But, yeah, I don't know. I think that on paper, there's all some decent rosters here, but some of these teams are going to be pretty stacked. That is the intention of, well, Sentinels especially. That's one that's been confirmed. You'd think that NRG might be able to do a similar thing, but we've said over the last few days, there's been lots of questions as to exactly what they're up to right now, and the fact that they don't really have any idea what their fifth man is going to be, or even their fourth man right now. Maybe they do, and maybe things are changing behind the scenes. Let's talk Game Changers then, because as it always the case, it's only every few days. You know, they need to put a countdown. Every time there's a bit of Game Changers drama in North America, get a countdown going, and within a week, there's going to be some sort of other piece of drama, because we're back again. So Misfits Esports actually parted ways with their GC roster yesterday, but this was the big talking point from EG. So EG can't stay out of drama as an organisation. We know that they won the World Championship in Valorant very recently, and all of a sudden they're forcing their players to take pay cuts. Some of them might get sold elsewhere to, you know, let's say NRG, as we discussed with Dean 1, or maybe Ethan, and Jorgamo to G2, and there's other options out there as well, Boostio to 100 Thieves. But even if those deals are done, still loads of drama with this org. The CEO was recently basically fired from her role. And then, again, EG somehow managed to put together a run where their Game Changers team wins the recent tournament over version 1 and is good enough to qualify for the Game Changers World Championship in Sao Paulo. So EG just continue to have good rosters, but they end up just, well, falling short for other reasons. So, as EG say yesterday, this week we were made aware of comments made by a player on our Game Changers roster which are severely inappropriate, hateful, and misogynistic. These comments go against our values and evil geniuses and undermine the mission of Game Changers in creating a safe space for marginalized genders to compete and to grow. The player has been removed from the organization effective immediately. So, now they've got to find a replacement replacement, right? I mean, guessing so. They've qualified for the Game Changers World Championship. I don't imagine that the team that they qualified instead of, let's say SR, is going to say, actually, EG are going to say, all right, yeah, we won't even bother going along. The players won't want that to be the case. I imagine they're going to be able to make some sort of emergency roster change here, but still, lots of, I imagine there's going to be some updates on that coming soon. So the player in question goes by Keen C, right? You guys probably seen this player, so yeah, this is one of the clips in question, and I'm not going to share the clips. I'll link them down below if you guys want to go and listen to this stuff. It probably will ruin your day, but still, if you guys want to check it out, I'll put it down there for you guys to find. So there was a couple of accusations came through, some clips were hitting the timeline a while ago now, and I will say it's interesting timing just because all this stuff happens after the team won the won the qualifier, right? So EG's Game Changers, they had just won the qualifier, and then immediately after the next couple of days, we start to see all this stuff come through. So various women were saying that Keensey was not acting in appropriate ways at all, and yeah, various clips and DMs were hitting the timeline, which, well, obviously Evil Genius has had a look at, and then decided that this is, yeah, way beyond the line of what is tolerable within their organization, and therefore this player has to go. There was also some drama as well from this individual rank up because Keen C identifies as non-binary, right? So in Game Changers, it's for females, but also marginalized genders. And rank up was also making the accusation that Keen C has effectively faked being non-binary to get a spot in the team. Now, I don't know what you guys think about this. There's all sorts of controversy on this stuff, and it's really tough to get away from given the way that Game Changers is set up. But yeah, there were quotes coming out where, you know, as is said here, there's currently an intelligence investigation going on at Riot about Keen C because everyone knows they're faking being, I guess this was non-binary. So, yeah, I don't know what you guys think about that. But regardless, this player, based on the comments, has been removed by the organization. Keen C did comment on this a couple of days ago and said, this remark was dumb and in bad taste. I know people roast me for this, you know, but people didn't know about it. I'm disgusted about it. It's happened a year ago. So I hope people, you know, I hope I'll move past this and can do better, right? A tweet that's since now been deleted, and EG clearly didn't take too kindly to it and therefore have made the decision they have made. So, I mean, yeah, like there's never drama in Game Changers is only just so far around the corner. And then you've got SR, right, who are now looking at this saying, hang on a second, right? You know, we just lost to these guys and they've now qualified for the Game Changers World Championship. Now they've had to make a roster change. Like, surely we can go instead. But I don't really think that's going to be the case. In the same way that poor Disguised Toast Game Changers team, they lost to Cheaters, and, you know, nothing's going to happen with them getting reinstated or anything. So, you know, it's not like EG Game Changers were cheating. They just, you know, had a player that's done some questionable things. Even if it is a long time in the past, the organization's decided not to continue with them going forwards, and therefore changes, I guess, are necessary. Now, the other drama going on yesterday was around the smoke grenades, because they have been changed somewhat significantly. To be honest, I'm surprised this caused the uproar that it did. I know that certain pros like Durka were like, what are you guys complaining about? It's really not a big deal. But still, these were the changes confirmed yesterday. Astra, Brimstone, and Omen smokes will now play an audio and visual cue 1.5 seconds before they fade. This is what it looks like in game. Here we can see the Brimstone smoke that, well, you start to see these like triangle things come around. And if you see that, you know that smoke is just about to fade. 1.5 seconds away. And this is what it looks like, for example, on the Omen smoke. So, yeah, very interesting stuff, and this is the Astra smoke, of course, a similar type of thing. I don't know what you guys think about this. It's pretty interesting. It's clearly designed for the very, you know, for the new player or for the lower ranked player to understand when a smoke is going to disappear. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but of course, this is the usual modus operandi of, well, as Josh RT says from G2, lowering the skill floor to make it easier and more enjoyable for players at lower ranks to understand smoke timings and stuff like this. Now, of course, on a pro level, smoke timings are still relevant, but if you get it wrong on your timings, you are now bailed out somewhat by getting informed by the game as to these timings, which does lower the skill gap, I think probably quite marginally, but there is an element to which this lowers the skill gap at the top level. The players that are really good at timing their smokes, which is, it's a marginal benefit, but it is a benefit that some players have over others, are, you know, that kind of advantage in skill is diminished by these changes. I will also say, like, even in Counter-Strike 2, this doesn't exist this blatantly, but it exists to some extent where the smokes in that game, when they bloom, they are a different color. They go more gray. I don't know if you guys have played the new CS2, but the smoke grenades start off looking either yellow or blue, depending on which team you're on. And then as they go on, they actually change color and go a bit more gray. So, you know, maybe that would be an interesting way to do it, because like there is some indication in CS2 about when the smoke is going to fade and what the color is, but you have to be really adept to see it. And there's actually quite a skill in understanding the color change of the smoke to know when it's going to fade. So, you know, there's a little bit of information there, but it's not super blatant like this is, which I think maybe is a better way to do it. But, you know, then again, you don't want to necessarily change the color of the smokes that are associated with certain characters, especially when there's already enough color and different chaos going on in Valorant right now. So a lot of the pros were like, why are they doing this? Now, the idea is pretty obvious, right? As I just said, as Josh RT says, the intention is to make it easier for newer players. But for the pros, they're like, damn, this is lowering the skill gap again. And maybe there is an argument that says they're focused on the wrong issues. As T-Dog says, stream sniping, we don't care. Dodging games, we don't care. Leaderboard rewards, we don't care. Making the game more casually friendly, which makes it more friendly to people who are bad and can't think, which makes them more likely to play longer, which makes buying skin bundles more appealing tick. Now, you know, at the end of the day, right, want to make more money, and this is one of the ways that they're trying to do it. Is T-Dog wrong? Probably not. But, you know, is this a massive deal? I also think probably not. But then again, as Som says, you're focusing on the wrong things. Can we fix the judge first, then worry about the other things? And there was also talk, and I know that Durka replied to it as well on the stream sniping stuff, saying that, well, stream sniping is a massive issue right now, but what can you realistically do about it if you're Riot? You know, unless you consider it to be properly cheating, and if someone, because there's some people out there that will blatantly stream snipe and they will post clips of them doing it on social media, and Riot don't do anything about it. And it's basically when you watch somebody else's stream in real time, so you can see what they're doing, you can react, know which site they're going to, etc, etc. The streamer can stop it by putting on a delay of, like, you know, 30 seconds, a minute, whatever. But doing that kind of ruins the interaction with their chat, and it's not the ideal solution. But then again, what can Riot really do to resolve this? That's another difficulty, even though it is nonetheless a massive problem in the game right now. So yeah, very much interested in your thoughts in the comment section below. All sorts of drama going on today, as is always the case. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.